my name's ShawNshawN. I do art on ShawNshawN.co and specials on eBay. Today we're going to review Greta. So Greta's the story of Frances, this young woman who's moved recently to New York City to move in with her best friend, who has this new condo her parents bought her, and they're kind of breaking and exploring New York together. And her friend Erica is actually from the area, so she's really street smart. And Greta's from the countryside, kind of the suburbs. They went to college together, and so she's not quite street smart. While she's on the subway going back from work, she finds this purse, and she's like, oh. So she grabs the purse, tries to go to Lost and Found. Lost and Found's closed, so she's like, oh, maybe I'll return it. Her friend's like, oh, we got all this money, great, we can spend it. She's like, no, you can't spend the money, that's terrible. He's like, you don't know what this is. She's like, no, I'll just return it, it'll be fine. So she returns it. Turns out it's this nice old woman whose daughters live in Paris, right? So she's moved away, she's feeling very lonely, her husband's died, her dog has died, and the girl feels sorry for her. You know, she has her own loss, her own mother has died like last year, so kind of grieving, so she's looking for a mother figure, so it's kind of like the perfect come together. You know, they start walking around the city and gets to know Greta a little more, and then she suggests to Greta, hey, maybe you should get a dog. She's like, no, I shouldn't get a dog. And then she finally convinces her to get this nice dog at the shelter, and it's the dog that's about to be killed and gets the dog, right? You know, as she's going through having tea at her house, she finds all these series of purses, and then she's like, oh my god, there's several girls she's been hunting or whatever, you know, and you're like, hey. So she's like, oh, I'm feeling sick. She's like, oh, you want to lay down? She's like, no, I'll just go home. It'll be fine. You want to pack a lunch? No, I don't want to pack a lunch. So at this point, maybe Greta's a little bit wise to, you know, maybe she's found something that she shouldn't have found, right? She gets out and she's like, that's it. I'm not going to deal with her. But she had told Greta before, she's like, chewing gum, I like to stick around and really be a friend for a long time. But then she's made friends with this crazy stalker, right? Greta's stalking her at the hotel, restaurant where she works at. She stalks her friend in the bar she's working at. So it's getting really out of hand. They go to the police. The police says you can't do anything unless she's actually attacks you. So she's like, great. And so finally Greta blows up at the restaurant and they take her away and they're like, oh, maybe we can do something. But then they release her and it's like, oh shit, what am I gonna do now? And then her friend suggests, hey, maybe you should just go talk to her, say you're sorry, it's all your fault, you know, kind of switch the tables on her psychologically. At the same time, she's figuring out that so then she gets like kidnapped by Greta, right? So at the end, you know, various people try to rescue her, and you know, there's kind of a good ending to it. So, you know, a little bit kind of like the weird thing is Bates Motel, right? But in this case, it's not quite so gruesome. There's kind of a build-up. I think if there hadn't been so many of these type of movies, it would have been more punchy. I do like the fact that they play up, you know, she has a mother and then her mother's dead and then this mother is grieving as well, kind of her missing her daughter. I think what I would have done in the story is show more of the scenes with Frances with her mother, and then at the burial, you know, maybe just really quick flashback scenes, 5-minute each. And this would give us kind of the more like why she's so attracted to Greta. I mean, it makes sense at the story, but just to have those scenes to kind of make it more, a little more juicier, I think. But maybe not. I mean, it's kind of more as you would. Another weird thing is once the daughter goes missing, the dad hires a detective. Then the detective goes missing, but then the dad is out of the picture. It's kind of like, well, wouldn't the dad be worried? Like checking up with the detective, hey, what's going on? What's going on? Where are you found? Where's the detective? What's going up? Showing up at the shop and then being confused. That might have been kind of a little bit more they could have added in there, a couple minutes. But in the way they have this nice twist at the end, that's pretty fun, where Greta's hunting another girl, right? And she's like, oh my god, because there's been a series of girls that went missing, right? So in the end, it's kind of a nice thing because it goes back to the beginning where she hears this knocking the door and then it's like,
oh no, that's construction upstairs.
But actually it's her last girl that she's captured and is trapped in this secret room. So there's a lot of good fun elements in the film. You know, basically the marketing, they kind of show what it is. Not too much because they have the nice surprise twist at the end, which is nice. I mean, you kind of expect a little bit like that maybe, but not exactly. So they have a pretty good twist. I think if they had built Erica's character to be a little more clever about being street smart, they might have made a little more foreshadowing possibly, but I kind of like how that played out. Overall, it's a, you know, just a fun movie, hour and a half. It's like perfect timing. I think the editing was pretty good. Nothing out of the ordinary. It's just kind of a one-time view, I would say. But, you know, overall, I like it. I'd give it a thumbs up. Hopefully you guys give me a thumbs up. If you guys want to subscribe below. And I'll see you on the next movie review.